Hey, it's Darnell from Wave Oven Recipes here, and I've got myself a new toy, you could say. I've got the NuWave Breville XL Smart Oven. It, as they say, is a countertop convection oven. It's, in layman's terms, it's a convection toaster oven. It's also being promoted as a countertop air fryer oven. So you'll hear it called, I guess, when they're promoting it by many names, but I'm just going to call it the NuWave Breville XL Smart Oven, since that's the name on the box. The NuWave Breville XL Smart Oven is what I'll call it. And this video is not going to be short. I'm going to be doing an in-depth unbox review, going over features and a whole lot of things with this. So basically, this is a competitor, NuWave's competitor to the Cuisinart air fryer toaster oven, the KitchenAid convection digital countertop oven, and the Breville smart oven. The suggested retail price for it at Kohl's was $180, basically $179.99, and Kohl's has it on sale for $150, $149.99. Also, the website for NuWave is NuWaveBravo.com. They're selling it for $149.97. But I found that the best price for this, if you want to buy this, is Kohl's. You go to Kohl's and you go to RetailMeNot.com. And basically what you do is you get some coupon codes from RetailMeNot.com. Kohl's will let you combine up to about 3 or 4 coupon codes. They may give you one that they force you to take, and then you get like 3 more you can probably stack on. But try and from RetailMeNot.com stack on as many coupons as you can. I was able to get my price knocked down pretty good. I got it over the weekend when some of the Veterans Day holiday codes were available. I don't know which code they'll have available when you try and order. But try as many RetailMeNot.com codes as you can as you're checking out to get the best price. You'll be able to knock it down well from $150. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the box here, get this opened up so that we can look inside of here. Alright. Pop this open. We got a lot of styrofoamy stuff here. I'm just going to lift it up out the box. Alright, let's get the styrofoam off of it. Get some of these other parts out the box and get the box out the way. Alright, ta-da, the plastic's off. And remove some of this protective tape here. Let's get this plastic off this, the plug there. Get that unraveled. Alright, so here's your power cord. It looks like it's just a short, it's a short, like 3-foot cord. It's not very long. So, not very long cord. You'll have to get it close to your outlet, or you'll have to use an extension cord. Yep. Alright, so here we have the Bravo. It has different buttons and settings and dials, and here's the inside there. I'm going to be getting more into getting into it and all the what you can fit in it and whatnot later. But this here is your fry basket, so that you can, if you want to fry things, you put that up on your higher level rack and you can fry some things. This is your broiler plate. If you wanted to broil some things, you could set this on and broil. And this is your digital meat thermometer. It has a meat thermometer that comes with it. You can just plug it in right here into your temperature jack, and then stick that in there and measure the temperature of your meat while it cooks. This is the baking pan. The baking pan can be used with the broiler plate here. I'm sure you're familiar with this in your conventional oven, how this kind of goes together, just to kind of catch your drippings. These are the racks. These comes with 2 racks. So like you could put a rack on the bottom, which is level 4. There are 4 levels. And you could put a rack on the top, which is the very top rack. Get that in there, right? Alright, got that in there. So with that, you could take like your fry basket, you could stick it up top, maybe quick fry yourself up some French fries, and put your baking basket down bottom, catch your drippings, so that anything that drips you catch there. So taking those out. What I want to show you now is inside here. The reason you want to keep it protected from getting any drippings going down to the bottom of this thing is there are heating elements on the bottom and there are heating elements on the top. There are these lamps that are on the bottom and the top. There's 2 lamps in the bottom. There's 2 lamps up top here, equally spaced. There's also this fan up here. This is a multi-stage or multi-level fan that works there. I'll talk more about that fan in a little bit. But you can see it has vent holes basically all around it, you know, so it gets pretty hot, and I'll get into the temperatures in a moment. It gets pretty hot. The final thing that's included in the box is this, the manual, includes recipes. You can also get a PDF of this manual with recipes off the NuWave Breville.com site. In the Q&A or frequently asked questions, they have a link to it also. I will say that there was one thing I noticed in some of these recipes that is not common to like the NuWave oven or air fryers in general. Some of them require a little preheating of the oven depending on the recipe. A lot don't, but they do recommend preheating for a few of them to get the box hot before you start cooking. And I'll do a test to see how long it takes to preheat as part of this video here. There are 12 programmable presets. I'm basically going to get this all set up, and then I'm going to go in depth about each of the presets and some of the other features here. Okay, so I've got the NuWave Breville on my counter now. I just want to, for a size comparison, put the Power Air Fryer Oven Elite up to it. So you can see when I put the Power Air Fryer Oven Elite up to it, the Power Air Fryer Oven Elite in it probably have the same distance this way, but the NuWave is much wider. You can see way wider than the Power Air Fryer Oven Elite. Now this is my NuWave Oven Pro. You can see that it's also wider than the NuWave Oven Pro. So it's got a lot of room. I'll just open up. I could fit the NuWave Oven rack easily inside of there. It's got a little more room for cooking than even the NuWave Oven Pro. It's got a wider cooking area than the NuWave Oven Pro has, which is pretty good. Of course, you don't have options like being able to increase the height with like an extender ring like you can with the NuWave Oven, but it does have a lot of space in there, generally speaking. Now I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to show you something when I plug it in that I saw someone mention in a review online, and it was a complaint, and it's something that I've noticed as well. I just tried to plug in a moment ago and I noticed it. So I want to do this with you just so that you can tell. I don't know if you're going to hear it. I'm going to try. I'm not putting any music in this video because I want you to be able to hear. So I'm hoping that you hear it too, when what I heard and what I saw someone online complaining about. But you're going to hear this thing start making noise before it's even in use. So here we go. Don't know if you can hear that, but it's a very faint kind of a electric whistle hum type of sound. It's very faint. Now I'm going to unplug it and you maybe see if you can hear it stop. So basically it makes some type of little noise when it's plugged in. So I would recommend that when you're not using it, unplug it unless you want to hear that little faint noise. And I'll try and plug it in again just one more time and see if you can hear it. Now I'm going to unplug it again. So maybe you hear it or you don't, but that's a pretty interesting thing. I haven't experienced with other cookers having a little faint background noise. But I'm going to go ahead and get it plugged in. I'm going to plug it in over at this other plug you can't see. That's where I usually plug these things in at. Alright, I've got it plugged in. I'm just going to put I'm going to put the lower rack in and the upper rack. There's only, like I said, 2 racks, but put the 2 racks in, put the fry basket and the baking tray down bottom in, just so it's got the typical setup that will be used with a regular cook of like maybe doing some air frying or fries or something. I'm just going to do that regular setup while I talk through some things. Alright, so just to start things here, I'm going to hit the on-off button. Now it's on, and it's just showing 350 degrees is a starting default temp there. So I'm just going to try the menu button, and as I hit menu, I'm going through my different presets. Now I'm going to turn it off while I talk through, well actually I'm going to leave it on while I talk through these presets. I'm just going to quickly go back to the first one. The first one is air fry. Air fry defaults to 350 degrees, default time 15 minutes. As I showed you, there are 2 heat elements. That causes just the high fan to be used, and so that's for air fry. The next one is reheat. Reheat defaults to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Default time is 10 minutes. Heat source is top and bottom, going at 100% capacity. The next one is waffle. Now this waffle button, I was like, can you make waffles in this thing? But it's not to make like, you know, homemade waffles. It's just a button to like reheat or heat up your frozen Eggos is what the waffle button is basically for. They should have just called it the heat up your frozen Eggos, but I guess they'd get in trouble with Kellogg if they did that. But anyway, the waffle button defaults to 400 degrees, 4 minutes. Heat source is top and bottom at 100%. The next one is the bake button. The bake button defaults to 350 degrees, 25 minutes, heat source top and bottom at 100%. The next one is the roast button. The roast button defaults to a temperature of 310 degrees, 25 minutes, and the top and bottom heat sources run. The next one is the pizza button. The pizza button defaults to 450 degrees, and it uses 15 minutes of the default time. Top and bottom heating elements go into use for cooking your pizza. The next one is the broil button. Notice 500 degrees Fahrenheit when we get to broil. That's 500 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes. Heat source is only the top at 100%. Not the bottom, just the top for broil. The next one is frozen. I guess that's if you want to do something from frozen. The default temp is 325 degrees. Time is 20 minutes. Heat source is top and bottom. The next button, or the next option there for the pre-programmed menu, is the grill button. The grill button defaults to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Default time of 15 minutes. Heat source is only the bottom for the grill. The next one is dehydrate. Dehydrate defaults to 100 degrees, as you can see. Default time is 2 hours. Heat source is the low fan, so it's just well, it says heat source low fan. It doesn't say heat source bottom, but it's a low fan heat source that it's using. So I guess it may just be, maybe it's blowing a low heat from the top from the fan or something on low in that case. The next one is the toast button. So if you want to have some toast, you got a toast button. Default temp is 310 degrees. Default time is 3 minutes. Heat source is top and bottom at 100%. The last pre-programmed button is bagel, which is a default temp of 310 degrees, default time 3 minutes, top and bottom heat source. Basically, they have a button called toast and a button called bagel, which do the exact same thing. I mean, that doesn't, I don't get it. You know, it could just been toast / bagel, but I guess, you know, in order to say they have 12 presets instead of 11 presets, they gave the toast and the bagel the exact same feature. So that's, don't get that. All right, so the heat on this NuWave Breville XL Smart Oven, it ranges from 100 degrees Fahrenheit to 450 degrees Fahrenheit is what they promote it as doing, but it has the broil button, which, as I showed, does up to 500. So I guess you could say it can capably go from 100 to 500, but maybe they don't want you using that broiler for too long. So maybe for your average, your regular cooks, you want to just do between 100 and 450. It uses 1800 watts of power. Now, let's compare that to a conventional electric oven. According to electricuseCalculator.com, an electric conventional oven uses between 1000 and 5000 watts, uses about 2400 watts when set to medium or high on a conventional oven. So assuming the NuWave Breville XL Smart Oven is used often at the full 450 degrees Fahrenheit and it's pulling out 1800 watts of power, it'll still do better than a conventional oven. And it's designed to hold the heat in better, so there's going to be less heat loss, and it should cook more efficiently. A conventional oven at 450 degrees often will use more in watts, and more heat's going to be wasted out, making your whole house hot. And since the NuWave Breville can go down to 100 degrees, can also do dehydration, which you can't do in your conventional oven. So it can dehydrate and air fry. It's basically a jack of all trades type of oven. I do like that they put heat elements on the bottom and the top, so that's you know, a lot better than the NuWave oven or the power air fryer oven, you know, where they just have the heat source on the top. This has top and bottom, so it can do it all. One of the buttons down here I wanted to show you is a sear button. This sear button allows you to basically do two different types of searing. It has sear level 1 that you can use before cook. It has sear level 2 that you can use after a cook to basically sear your meat. It'll give it a nice burst of heat to sear your meat, give that nice sear, which is cool. It has 3 what they call super convection fan speeds. So depending on the cook that you're doing, you can adjust your fan with the fan button, so do different fan speeds. There's a top bottom button here. This you can control which heat element is used. If you want to control it yourself, you can, you know, if you just want the top one to run or just the bottom one or both, you can control that with the top button, control which heat elements are running. There's a warm button here that you can just press when you want to just keep your food warm. See, that's 140 degrees just to keep your food warm. It has a light button here. You can just press, turn that light on in there, or turn that light off. That's pretty neat. It has a delay button here. You can delay your cook up to 24 hours. So, you know, I guess if you're wanting to start cooking later, you can go all the way till tomorrow if you want. There's this stage button here. The stage button, it allows you to cook up to 5 different stages. So you can have it automatically adjust the temp during a cook at different stages. You know, after a certain period of time, you might want it to bring the temp down, bring the temp up. It can do that automatically if you're using the stage button in your cook. This NuWave Breville, it's not very heavy. It only weighs 17 pounds. It's very lightweight. Now it has a 1 cubic foot capacity. So as you can see, I could get the whole NuWave oven rack in there. So that means all your pizzas you'll be able to get in there that are, you know, like your DiGiorno's and your other types of pizzas. You can get in up to like maybe a 13-inch pizza, get in there. Basically, they say that it can hold up to a 10-pound chicken, a 6-pound roast, a 13-inch pizza or 9 pieces of toast. So it can do some serious cooking. Now, you know, being a jack of all trades cooker, it can bake. It can do cookies without venting for you NuWave folks. No need to try and vent air just to try and cook your cookies. People who don't have a NuWave oven don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm sure people who have a NuWave oven do. And this comes with a 3-year manufacturer warranty. I guess that's something you see how that really works when you have to use it. Okay, I'm going to turn the NuWave Breville on, and I'm going to turn the dial up to 450 degrees to get it to 450. And I can't dial it up any higher. I can't dial it up to 500. It only goes to 500 with that broil button. But what I want to do here, since a lot of cooks are done at that upper 400 range, and some of them may require preheating, I'm going to just test how long it takes for it to preheat to 450. So I'm going to hit this preheat button, and then when I press this dial in, that starts it. So I'm going to hit start and start my timer. So I'm going to let that run, let it preheat, and I'll bring you back and let you know how long it took to get to the 450 degrees in preheating. Alright, we're a little over a minute into the preheat, and you probably can see that bottom element is getting real red. Those top elements are also getting real red, so it's getting real hot in there. It's not telling me where it's at in the preheat, but it is still preheating, so we'll have to wait and see when it finishes its preheat. Alright, we are over 5 minutes and 30 seconds in, over 5 minutes and 40 seconds. It's still in this preheat. So, you know, this is like conventional oven weight for it to preheat if you have to do something that requires preheating. And I know, for one, pizzas require preheating, or they recommend preheating in their recipe guide. I'll say they recommend that you preheat to 400 before you start the pizza. So you're going to be waiting a little while before you get your pizza going. And they do also recommend that you use a pizza stone if you want to use a pizza stone, but I'm sure you don't have to, especially if you're doing something like a frozen pizza. Alright, 7 minutes 24 seconds or so, and it's gone from the preheat to ready. So we know that it basically took a little over 7 minutes to get preheated. So I'm going to go ahead and just stop my timer there. So there you go. How long does it take for it to get to 450 degrees to preheat if you want to do a pizza? Over 7 minutes. Now after it reached the 450 degrees, it's just doing this 5-minute countdown so that it would just cook for 5 minutes at 450 degrees, but you can adjust the dial. Basically press it in and then you can adjust to whatever minutes you want after you press it in, and you could just cook for however long you want. So let me turn this off. Okay, so basically this is the NuWave Breville XL Smart Oven, the newest entry from NuWave to compete with other convection toaster ovens, and it looks like it can do a lot of different type of jobs as far as cooking. And so basically I'm going to be, you know, in some future videos I'll definitely be showing this off here and there, doing different things with it, also using some of my other cookers ongoing as well. So basically, you know, this is it. You know, if you're interested, definitely get it from Kohl's. I have a lot of recipes. I'll have recipes that if I make any recipes for this, they'll be with other recipes that I've made, hundreds of them, at superwaveovenrecipes.com. I'm on Twitter at waveovenrecipes. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share the video with your friends. Leave your comments. Tell me what you think about this new NuWave Breville XL Smart Oven. And also, please subscribe to the channel. And good eating.